Happy Halloween! Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC. I want to wish you all a happy Halloween. Today, we're going to take the mystery out of the Barra Schofield, and it's the number 3, model number 3. And I don't just have one for you. I've got the 7-inch and I got the 5-inch. So we're going to do a little bit of comparison and show you the performance on both of them. So this should be actually pretty in-depth, that's for sure. Before we get started on this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you hadn't. It's down in the corner. It's absolutely free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it really supports the channel, so I'd really appreciate that. Also, if you have an opportunity, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On the site, I have some inventory that I put on there occasionally. I also have some hats and some t-shirts, and I also have my Generation 2 bipod kits. Those are sold out right now, unfortunately, but I do have another shipment coming in. When will it be in exactly? Not quite sure, because you know they're falling victim to that shipping chaos. So regardless, let's get back to the Schofields. First of all, let me give you a little history on where the Schofield came from. Originally, Smith & Wesson put together a Model 3 American, and that was in competition with the Colt Single Action Army. And a Major George W. Schofield, he basically took a look at the Model 3 American and improved it. He added a couple of features and he patented it along with Smith & Wesson. So Smith & Wesson then came out with the Smith & Wesson Model 3 Schofield. So it was the number 3 Schofield. And the whole idea about this is it has an open breech. So it's very easy to load. And it was easier for the Army personnel, especially when they were riding horseback, to be able to load and unload their guns. Much easier than the Single Action Army. So he ordered about 9,000 of those. And unfortunately, that was about it. They quit producing pretty much after that. There wasn't a big calling for it because I don't think there was much advertisement back then. But anyway, that's basically the history of your Schofield. So it was designed to be a more functional gun to take place of the Army Single Action Colt. So let's talk about the replicas here. These are some beautiful replicas. They come in 3 finishes. They come in the nickel finish, then they come in this standard finish, and then they also come in an antique version, an antique finish. They're a CO2 powered. They're powered by one 12-gram CO2, and they shoot .177 caliber steel BBs. Now, the good thing is they also have pellet shells out, and you can shoot pellets out of these, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to give you in-depth insight to the performance on both of these with BB shells and pellet shells, BBs in the pellet shells, and we'll cover all of that for you. So, as I was saying, a 12-gram CO2, and if you pop the handle off, there's a little tab right here. You can just pop that off. Your CO2 goes right in here. You just drop it in there. And then the great thing is you don't have to search for an Allen wrench. It's got a wrench that's built right into it. So you just put that wrench on the bottom and you can tighten that up, loosen it, whatever you need to do. And then you simply just put the handle or cover back on and you're set. So as I said, it's got the 5-inch is in the nickel finish and the 7 is in their standard finish. This also has a safety on it. If you look at the back right here, there's a little button and you can push that forward and it keeps the gun from cocking, so there is a safe on it. And the way these load, you just crack it open just like this. Move this one out of the way. Just crack it open, and you can either A, pop your shells out, right? They're the typical kind of the rubber based or the rubber tip on them, and then you can, like I showed you with the Webleys a few weeks ago, you can put some BBs in a small container and you can just push them in like that. So the BBs actually load in the tips of these. And obviously these all go back in. So you'd have to load those one at a time and then drop them back in the gun. Okay, so what I was telling you, they also make pellet shells for these. And the pellet shells, I'll show you right here. The good thing about these is you can pop them out too, or you just leave them in the gun. And then you can actually just push the pellet into the back of them. I'm also going to show you that you can shoot BBs with these shells, and I'm going to show you the performance with BBs. So you can push BBs into the back of these as well. So there's not even a reason to pull the shells out of the gun, unless you're into that. You want to do the authentic loading and you can take the shells out. But if you don't want to, I'm one of those, I like it simple, so I can load that just by cracking the breech open, which is nice. So the 5 with the BBs shoots roughly, they claim, around 400 feet per second. And then you're going to get a little bit more velocity out of the 7-inch because of the longer barrel. They both have fixed sights, so you can't adjust the sights. Now I did, I'll show you here real quick, I did take some of Lucy's nail polishes I showed you before, and I put it just on the tip of this one. Because being the dark color, I kind of lost the sight as far as the sight picture. But my eyes aren't the greatest. So just a little bit of nail polish on there, put a little orange tip on there. Does it take the authenticity away from it? Yeah, just a little bit, but it makes it much easier for me to shoot. So the 5-inch gun weighs about 2¼ pounds. Very solid, very solid. And the 7-inch, what we have here, weighs about 2½ pounds. So they're pretty hefty guns, so very, very authentic as far as that goes. All right, the key is, though, is how well are they going to perform? Well, we're going to put them through the gamut, and I'm going to cover every aspect of it, because a lot of times people have a question of how does a 5-inch perform compared to a 7-inch? How does the BB shells compare to the pellet shells? And I'm even going to show you, as I said, is how the pellet shells perform with BBs. So I'm going to cover all that for you, so stay tuned for the next segment. Okay, let's do some velocity testing on our Schofields. Okay, I'm going to be pretty in-depth with you guys today. So we're going to do the 5-inch. Just to let you know, I'm going to shoot it just as it comes out of the box with the standard BB shells. We'll do 5 shots over the crony. We'll average it out. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the pellet shells in it, and I'm going to shoot BBs out of the pellet shells because I'm going to show you the difference in velocity on that. Then finally, I'm going to put pellets in the pellet shells, and I'll give you velocity on that. And then I'll also talk about how it does with another pellet. So we'll do each one. We'll do the 5-inch and then the 7-inch because I want you guys to have all the information you can on this. All right, so let's do 5 shots over the crony. We're doing BBs. This is right out of the box. All right, shot number 1. That's 395. Shot number 2. 391. Okay, shot number 3. 381. Shot number 4. Notice it keeps going down as the CO2 cools. 395, and then it just jumped back up, so you never can tell. Okay, one more shot. 393. Okay, that was your 5 shots out of the box with your standard BB shells. So let's move on and try it with the pellet shells with the BBs. Okay, now we're going to try the pellet shells with the BBs, and we'll see what type of velocity we get out of these. All right. 457. 449. 429. Got 2 more. 452. And 1 more. 445. So if you notice, significant difference using the pellet shells with BBs. Because once again, what are we doing? We're putting the BB at the back of the shell. So theoretically, we're extending the length of this barrel. And it makes a difference in velocity. Okay, let's go ahead and try pellets in this next. Finally, we're going to shoot pellets with the pellet shells out of our 5-inch. I'm going to shoot today, I'm just going to shoot, these are one of the more accurate ones. This is a match green. They're a 5.25 round, so they're a light pellet. But when I'm done shooting those, I'll tell you how they performed with a 7-grain lead pellet. So let's just do 5 of these and go from there. All right, shot number 1. 503. Shot number 2. 500. Shot number 3. 491. Shot number 4. 489 and 1 more. 492. Yeah, even though the alloy pellet weighs this actually a little bit more than the BB, but with the pellet you get that cut back, so it really captures the air. And then we're using the pellet shells in addition to that, so it gives us that extra length. That's what makes up for that velocity. All right, just so you know, with some basic Diablos, some RWS, some 7-grain lead pellets, this averaged 443 feet per second. Now we're going to do the same routine with the 7-inch. I'm going to start with the standard BB shells. This is how the gun comes right out of the box. And then again, I'm going to show you the difference between the pellet shells and shooting BBs in them and then pellets. So let's just shoot 5 shots. This is how it comes out of the box. Now I'm expecting a little higher velocity with a longer barrel here. So let's see. All right, shot number 1. 393. Oh no, that's an error. That's an error. Okay. Evidently, can't go along without having an error. There you go, 420. That's shot number, we'll call that shot number 1. The first one was an error. 399. 391. 413. And one more. The first one was an error. We'll go ahead and shoot one more. There you go. And 412. Yeah, so you definitely got a little bit more velocity even out of the stock gun with a longer barrel. But let's go ahead and try the pellet shells in there with some BBs and see how well that does. All right, let's try our 7-inch, our Schofield here. We're going to try the pellet shells with BBs, and let's see what type of velocity we get. All right, first shot, number 1. 483. Shot number 2. 447. Whoa, that was a drop. It depends how these BBs set in those shells. Sometimes you get a little bit more blow by than others. 446, that's 3. 4. 447, and one more. 443. As you can see, significantly more velocity than the standard BB shells. All right, let's move on to the next. Last but not least, we're going to shoot pellets now out of our 7-inch using the pellet shells. We're going to use the match greens just like we did in the 5-inch. These are the 5.25 grain. And then when we're done with that, I'll tell you how they did with the 7-grain lead pellets. All right, so 5 shots. 540. 512. 506. 2 more. Try to let it rest just a little bit in between shots here, so in all fairness. 518. And one more. The question is, what will the number be? Will it be above 500? You never can tell. I guess the longer I delay here, maybe the higher it'll be. We'll see. All right, last shot. 515. All right. So that's how it did with our 5.25 grains. Just so you know, the Diablos, the basics, just a 7-grain lead pellet, we average 471 feet per second. So as you can see from what I just showed you, you get significantly better performance with the pellet shells, regardless if you shoot BBs or pellets, but definitely, and I think we proved that here. But anyway, take all that info. That was your inside scoop today anyway. Let's go on to the next segment. Okay, we're going to do a little accuracy test here with both our Schofields. We're going to start with the 5-inch. We're going to shoot it with the standard BB shells just the way out of the box. We're going to see how well it groups. So we'll just shoot some 5.1 zinc BBs for that. And then we'll take the 5-inch and we'll shoot it with the pellet shells. And with the pellet shells, we're going to actually use the match green pellets. Those are the 5.25 grain. So we'll shoot a group with those so you can compare the BBs and the pellets. And then we'll move on to the 7-inch Schofield and we'll do the same thing for that. So we'll shoot BBs with the stock shells first and then go with the pellet shells and see what type of grouping that we can do with that. But hey, I want to thank Splatterburst for supplying these targets once again, because they really do make the impacts nice and visible. Makes it easy to pick up on camera. So I'll leave a link down below for you for those, but I want to thank them once again. All right, you know, I was thinking in the mood of Halloween here, I'm going to have a guest shooter for you guys. And don't ask me where this guy came from. He just basically showed up. So let me bring him on in, and he's going to do the actual accuracy test for you. I'm not going to do that today, so let's bring him on in. All right, come on in. Surprise! Okay, were you guys expecting Lucy in a Victoria's Secret angel outfit? That would have been nice, but she didn't want to do that for me. So, next best thing, I got the Fat Bat here. So the Fat Bat, go ahead and have a seat here, Fat Bat. This is Max, guys, just so you know. Anyway, so the Fat Bat is going to go ahead and he's shoot from our, this is our usual 32 feet or so, what have you. Go ahead and take a look. This is our distance. All right, I'm gonna leave it up to the Fat Bat. So let's see how well you do, and I'll come check in on you when you're done with this target. Let me get out of your way.
Excellent.
It's all you.
All right. Glasses, safety, and vision. Let's see what we can do here. Now, I don't really expect too much for BBs. You know? But let's give it the best opportunity to succeed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't look too bad.
Well, how'd we do?
Not bad for BBs.
Not bad, but I think we ought to give the pellet shells a shot and see how those do. All right, so let's try the pellet shells. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and try the match green pellets. We're going to see how the Fat Bat does with those. And once again, remember, we're going on grouping on these because these have fixed sights. They're not adjustable sights. So, with that, let's see how well the Fat Bat does with the pellets, with the pellet shells. All right.
Got it.
I'll check in with you in a second. Good luck there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where's your other dynamic duel?
Well, he's out parking the car.
Okay, just checking.
All right. Get lined up here. Okay. 1. Not too bad. Not exactly what I'm used to. The old bat boomerang. All right, that's 5. Let's see how it checks out.
Wow. All right. Now that looks like a good group. I definitely say that's a good group. It definitely, I would say, an improvement over the BBs. Wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely,
The BB shells?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely looks like a good group. So, what do you think, Fat Bat? You think you can handle the 7-inch?
I don't know. It's a big gun.
You never can tell.
Yep.
All right, so let's try the 7-inch with the standard BB shells and see how well that one does in the next segment. Okay, now we're going to test out our Schofield, the 7-inch, and see how well it does. So we're going to use, once again, just the standard BB shells, and we'll see what type of grouping that we can get here. What do you think?
Right.
What do you think,
Ready
Fat
for a
Bat?
BB.
You ready for the BBs?
Ready for the BBs.
Let's see how well we do. All right. Get out of your way.
Hey, yeah, let's get set up. Excuse me, here while I adjust myself. Okay. One, 2. 3. 4. 5. 5. Okay.
Well, that wasn't bad. Looks like you had one flyer there, but the rest of the other 4 looks like a pretty decent group.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that one.
No, that one looks pretty good. Hey, we always get a flyer. I mean, you're talking about BBs. They just
True.
spin a little funny, come out a little funny.
Yeah, I think a little better than the 5-inch, huh?
Well, that's not too bad, but let's go ahead and try next. Let's try the pellet shells and shoot some pellets out of them.
Excellent.
Now, for our final round, we're going to use the pellet shells. And we're going to shoot, what are we shooting? The same 5.25, the match, the light ones? Yeah, the match green. This is a 5.25 grain. They seem to do really well in this, both these pistols, and you have good velocity with them as well. So let's just see how well they group. All right, Fat Man, last round. Or I should say Fat Bat. He's not the Fat Man. I was thinking Batman, you know, Fat Man, but it's Fat Bat.
Bat.
So there we go. All right.
I am the bat. All right. Let's get a sight picture going here. Okay, I should give it a CO2 a little bit of time between these shots. All right.
Wow.
There's 5 there. Let's see what it looks.
Wow.
It's not
wow,
bad.
Wow, wow. Now
One
that
flyer again.
that is an incredible, yeah, that's not really much of a flyer. That is an outstanding group. I mean, look at that group.
That's not
That's
bad
great.
at all.
So it shows definitely the pellets seem to perform much better in this gun than the BBs actually do.
Yeah.
Or with the pellet shells anyway.
And I'm getting used to these guns, so I think groups are getting a little tighter.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Okay, let's test the triggers. I want to test both of them. They're honestly, I think they're really, really close, but since we have them both here, let's just test the triggers on both of them. All right, we got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge. Let's do a pull on each of these and see where we're at. £3, 9/10 of an ounce. 3 pounds, 9/10 of an ounce. Not bad. Okay, let's reset that. Let's try our 7-inch. Okay. £2, 7.9 ounces. So 2 pounds, 7.9 ounces. So right around a 3-pound trigger on each of them. The triggers on these are fantastic. I'm going to tell you that right up front. You will not be disappointed in the triggers, that's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, my favorite portion of any review, as you guys know, is the plinking session. And we have a little Halloween theme going on with our targets. But what's even great is we've got the Fat Bat here to shoot with us. So we're at our usual about 32 feet, same distance. Go ahead, take a quick look. Okay, as you can see, we've got our little Halloween theme going with the little pumpkins and what have you. So I'm going to shoot the 7-inch. He's going to shoot the 5-inch ones. We're going to shoot pellets in these. He's going to take the bottom row. I'll take the top row. And let's just have fun and see what we can knock down.
Yes, I do have
here.
pellets.
Yeah, just so you guys know, off camera, he was supposed to set these up for me, right? So we go to shoot. Nothing's happening with my gun because there was no pellets in it. He was totally setting me up. So anyway, let me double check.
What better
Okay, we got
way to
pellets
win?
now. Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to go right to left, and
Yep.
you want to go left
I'm
to
going
right.
left to right and saving the pumpkin for
Okay,
last,
so
just in case I need that extra shot.
We'll save the pumpkin for last. All right. Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Ooh. I gotta hit that pumpkin. Nope.
Oh, well. Are you out?
I'm out.
That's the karma train. That's for him setting me up with no pellets. Anyway, guys, these are fun plinkers.
Fat bat failure.
Exactly. All right, stay tuned for the next segment.
Wrap this up with our conclusion, but before we get into that, I want to thank the Fat Bat for joining us, giving us that Halloween theme. I try to mix things up for you guys just a little bit, but I thought that was kind of fun. And you'll see him again, aka Max, but don't expose his secret identity, okay? Because we can't let that out there. I'm going to trust you guys to keep that under wraps. Anyway, how did the pistols do? I thought they did awesome. They did really, really well. Any negatives? No, not really. The only thing I would hope for is maybe they come out with a rifle barrel eventually, and that may improve the accuracy with the pellets. I mean, we did really well with the pellets, but I think it could maybe improve it even better. But let's talk about the positives. The positives, these guns, the finish, the fit and finish on these are just fantastic. They really are. I mean, when you look at these were definitely very similar as far as finish goes to the Colt, the single action armies that we reviewed quite some time ago. But these really do look good, and they're solid. Remember I said this is 2 1/4 pounds. This is about 2 1/2 pounds, the one with a little longer barrel. Triggers are outstanding on both these. Very smooth action, just very smooth, well built, well put together. I love the open breech. These are easy to load. And keep in mind, these take the same exact shells as the Webley. I might have mentioned that before. If I didn't, I'm telling you again. They take the same shells as the Webley, so they're interchangeable. The accuracy on them, how's that? They actually did really well, especially with the pellet shells. So between you and me, I would scrap the BB shells that these come with, because if you use the pellet shells and even put BBs in the pellet shells, you're going to gain about 50 feet per second, and we showed that to you. You're also going to gain some accuracy. The pellet shells, even with the BBs, are more accurate. And I didn't quite cover that comparison, but here's a couple of targets real quick. And if you see, the pellet shells did about 1.3 inches compared to the standard BB shells, which did about 2.2. So the pellet shells are definitely more accurate. And then you have the option to shoot in the pellets, which even are more accurate than the BBs. As far as the difference in velocity between the 5 and the 7 inch, we're talking roughly 15 to 20 feet per second, and that has to do with the length of the barrel, simply as that. Now, would I choose one over the other? Absolutely not. I like them both. I like the feel of the 5 inch. I like the feel of the 7 inch. If you're into cowboy type nostalgic replica pistols, these definitely have to be in your collection. And I say both. Get a 5 inch in one finish, get a 7 inch in another, and have both of them. But Barra did an incredible job with these. And another bonus is they actually come in a cardboard box, which is nice. That's always a bonus for me. I don't like those clamshells, that's for sure. So I would have to give these 5 stars, without a doubt. 5 stars. Solid gun. Think they definitely should be in your collection. So with that, I want to wish you once again a happy Halloween. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the air guns. Until next time, I hope your families are all doing well. I hope you're going to get plenty of shooting in. And take care. God bless.